If you start CPP at 60 and your friend waits until 70, their monthly check could be more than 120% higher than yours for the rest of their life. That's not 12%, it's not 42% or 36, but more than double the income. And here's the kicker, that 120% difference is just the starting point. Because once inflation kicks in, that gap keeps getting wider year after year for the rest of your life. So today, let's look at why waiting to take your CPP until 70 can be one of the smartest, most overlooked financial decisions that you can make. And stick around until the end because I'm going to show you how to build a plan that actually works for you, not against you. I had a couple come into my office not long ago. We'll call them Brian and Kathy. They were both 61, they were ready to retire, they were healthy, and like most Canadians, they'd worked hard their whole lives. Now, Brian said, I'm starting CPP as soon as I can. I want to get something out of it while I can. Kathy, though, had read somewhere that waiting could make more sense, but she wasn't sure why. So, as any good financial planner would do, we ran the math. And what we found changed how they thought about retirement completely. So here's what's actually happening behind that 122% difference. Now, if you take CPP at 60, your benefit is reduced by 0.6% per month before your 65th birthday. That's a 36% reduction locked in for life. Now, if you delay CPP after the age of 65, it grows by 0.7% per month. So if you defer it until age 70, that's a total increase of 42%. So at age 60, you only get 64% of that base amount that you're entitled to at age 65. If you wait until the age of 70, you're going to get 142% of that base amount. So 142 divided by 64 equals 2.22. Now that's 122% higher. Now let's take this step further. Imagine both benefits grow each year with inflation. Let's say roughly 2%. Even though it's the same 2%, 2% on $640 is a lot less than 2% on $1,420. So a 2% increase on $640 is $13, but a 2% increase on $1,420 is $28. So by the age of 90, that difference adds up dramatically. In fact, the person who waits until 70 could be receiving over 230% more income per month than someone who started at 60, just because inflation has compounded on a bigger foundation for 20 years. That's the quiet power of patience. So if the math is so clear, why do most Canadians start early? Well, it's usually emotional. It's not logical. The fear of missing out, the thought of what if I don't live long enough, or I've paid into this for decades, I just want something back. And those are all fair feelings, but planning based on fear often ends up costing more over time. And the truth is that for most Canadians, CPP is one of the best inflation-protected pensions that you'll ever have. It lasts for life, it grows every single year, and it doesn't care what happens in the markets. So if you're healthy and you have some savings to bridge those years, waiting isn't risky, it's rewarding. When we modeled Brian and Kathy's plan, here's what we found. They didn't have to sacrifice their lifestyle to delay CPP. They just needed to rearrange their income. So instead of taking CPP at 61 when they retired, they used those first 9 years to draw modestly from their RSPs while their tax rates were low. They refilled their TFSAs every year with funds that they didn't need, and they kept their OAS timing flexible to avoid clawbacks later on. Now, by age 70, their CPP benefits were 122% higher, and they were indexed. Now, their RSPs were smaller, yes, but they were also more tax efficient. And by their early 70s, their plan was paying them more income with less tax and a larger projected estate. That's what delaying CPP can unlock. Not just a higher pension, but a smoother, safer retirement overall. Now, we often hear Canadians say, I wish I had a defined benefit pension plan. But here's the reality. CPP is a defined benefit pension. It's guaranteed for life. It's adjusted for inflation and backed by one of the strongest largest pension funds in the world. If someone offered you the chance to double that pension by waiting a few years and to lock in those increases forever, most people would jump on it. But because CPP feels like a government program instead of a personal asset, people overlook its true value. Now, when you delay CPP, you're not losing income, you're shifting where it comes from. Now, those bridge years between 60 and 70 are your chance to draw down your RSPs strategically, top up your TFSAs, and manage your tax brackets before CPP and OAS even start. And by doing that, you smooth your income over time. And that often means paying less tax over your lifetime. Now, you're not working longer, you're just being intentional about the order in which you spend your money. Now, when people run a basic CPP calculator, it usually shows the break even somewhere in your early 80s. But that's if you only look at CPP in isolation, not the whole plan. Because once you integrate your RSPs, your TFSAs, your OAS, that break even often moves up to your early 70s. That means if you only live until 71 or 72, you could already be ahead by waiting. And statistically, most Canadians will live far longer than that. So most people end up way ahead. Now let's circle back to inflation because this is where the math quietly becomes life-changing. Say you start CPP at 60 with $600 a month. Your friend waits until 70 and starts at $1,400 a month. Now after 20 years of 2% annual increases, your payment grows to around $890, but your friend's grows to $2,100 per month. That's not just a difference, it's a transformation. Waiting turned what could have been a modest pension into something that easily covers major living costs deep into retirement without touching your investments. That's the kind of stability that lets you actually enjoy your money. I know waiting isn't easy. It feels like giving something up today for a maybe tomorrow. But if you think of your retirement as a 25 or 30-year chapter, the question isn't how soon can I collect it? It's how can I make sure that I'll never have to worry about running out? Waiting for CPP until 70 is one of the few financial decisions that directly increases guaranteed inflation-protected income for the rest of your life without taking on any market risk. That's a rare trade-off worth considering. Here's a simple framework that I use with clients who are considering delaying CPP. Number one is build your bridge. So during your 60s, draw from your RSPs while your tax rates are still low and refill your TFSA each year. Number two is stress test your plan. So look at what happens if inflation averages 4% or if markets underperform. The goal is to make sure that the bridge holds up under different scenarios. Number three, revisit every single year. Now, you don't have to commit on day one. You can decide year by year and start anytime between 60 and 70. Also, number four is coordinate OAS. So OAS can start at a different time. Sometimes taking it earlier and delaying CPP or vice versa produces the best result. And when it comes to retirement, most people focus on what they can get now. But the people who do best long-term think about what will matter most later. Delaying CPP isn't about denying yourself today, it's about building confidence for the decades ahead. Every extra month that you wait gives you a bigger, safer, more inflation-proof base of income that supports your lifestyle, your spouse, and your peace of mind. So when you hear people say, why wait until 70 for CPP? Remember this. It's not just 122% more to start. It's the chance for your income to keep growing faster every year after that, to protect you from inflation and to give you real freedom later in life. You don't have to work longer to get it. You just have to plan smarter. Now, if you'd like to see exactly how waiting could impact your retirement plan, I'd be happy to develop you a custom retirement income plan so that you can see your break-even and lifetime advantage. You can reach out to me anytime at stonecitywealth.com. I'm Adam. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.